Hey, it's MK, and I am here with another video for Get in Shape. I am also mixing this up with Baby Got Scraps, and today's shape is a chevron. Now, I am trying to emphasize at how cold it is here in my area of Nevada. It is freezing, you guys. We just had a huge snowstorm over the weekend, and I mean, I just wanted to share with you guys how cold it was and how hard it was to share with you guys the products that I'm using with gloves on. So I'm just sharing you guys. This film strip has really cool like graphics inside. It's so microscopic and so detailed. But these little film strips were available in the Advent calendar for December. And then I've got a ton of my wood pieces. This one is the little vehicles as well as the Let's Travel icons. And then I have the travel across country and road trip token as well. So I've got lots of travel-y road trip themed wood pieces that I'll be working with. I don't know where this came from, but I went ahead and threw it in this kit as well. I think it's from my beached stuff and it just got mixed up. So this is my chevron. To talk a little bit about my chevron, I will in just a minute. I wanted to share with you guys the rest of my papers. I have a Tim Holtz 6x8 piece of paper, 6x9. Definitely won't be using that side, but I'm going to use the Liverpool side. I also have this feels like real wood from Stampin' Up, but it's put on paper, so it's almost like a super thin veneer. It's awesome, you guys. And so I've got those two little scraps to use up, and then my piece of Echo Park paper here, which is this gorgeous dark blue with crosses, but it's got little fishies on the other side. So I'll be using the cross side. All right, gloves off. It's, laugh time is over. The first thing that I do when it comes to a pocket page. Now, pocket pages are very hard for me to record. I have a lot of them to share. However, they become super long videos because there's a lot of process involved, especially the way that I like to do them. So I cut them up quite a bit. I take out bits and pieces because it's repetitive. Everything that I do in steps. So I went and I trimmed down all my photos, either an 1/8 of an inch or a 1/4 of an inch, depending on how much of my paper I want to see behind my photo. Then I turn around and I trim all my papers down based off of the pockets that I have. So 4x6s, 3x4s, yada, yada, yada. And I try to make sure that my print stays matched up. So that's the hardest part there, is not mixing up the papers. For this particular exercise, it wasn't a big deal to mix up the papers because I ended up using some of the papers on one side and some of the papers on the other side. So I was okay with that. And then the next step is to split up my embellishments based off of whether or not, I'm going to put them on one side or the other side. And also I can't put bulky stuff on the same card on both sides. So that's another thing I have to keep in mind. And then once I'm done, I glue all of my papers back to back so there's no shifting in the pocket. So I want to make sure that my blue paper and my matte paper or my wood grain paper are all glued together, and then I'll start gluing my photos down. Now, the reason why I don't glue my photos down and then glue the papers back to back is because if one of them needs to be trimmed off and then I trim it and the other side was too close to the photo, sometimes that whole border disappears depending on if I cut it at an 1/8 of an inch or a 1/4 of an inch. So just a lot of process. And in the end, because I've told myself multiple times, is this even worth it? In the end, it is. I'm very happy with the end product. I'm very happy with the finished, finite look of my pocket pages. And over the years, as my kids are flipping through them, or as my family is flipping through them, they don't shift. I don't have to sit there and see that white border on the other side, or the little fish tentacle that might be sticking out, from the paper that wasn't really supposed to be for this type of layout. I really like that. All right, so I disappeared for a heartbeat because I have a little gap between all of my papers for my vertical piece photos. And in the end, did I need to really do this? Probably not. But again, it's that finished look. Now, As I am doing the voiceover and watching and editing the video, I should have flipped these and put my 4x4 photos on this particular side. But I didn't want to. I really felt like the 4x4 photos, because it was pictures of it in a snowstorm. So I really wanted to use the blue to portray the blue in when it snows, right? I definitely wanted to get that. So yeah, this part here, I probably could have put the photos down and ignored the white little bits, but I know myself enough to know that over time that would have drove me nuts, and I would have had to do something later. And I just like the finished product. I really do, you guys. So plus this, I have no idea how old this ribbon really is. So I'm okay if it just gets used up, even if I only see 1/8 of an inch on each side. I do end up using part of the ribbon to bring it throughout the rest of the layout. In other spots, I do end up bringing in more of the ribbon. So that way there's a purpose to using the ribbon, right? Not really a purpose, but a thought behind it. All right. So again, with the chevron, I struggle so hard with chevron. I have, that is one of my first pieces of paper that I destash. This is the last piece of paper that I ever use in a collection. It just does not work for me. So I had a hard time trying to find a chevron in my stash, and I came across this piece here, which I thought was chevron-y enough, right? It had the arrows going in one direction and then the arrows going in the other direction throughout the paper. So I'm reading it as a chevron. Is it a cheat? I apologize. I really do. But chevrons and triangles are super hard for me. And so I just don't use them. I don't want to make this hobby stressful. And so that's how I de-stress, is I get rid of the things that are hard. Is that a cheat? In life, yes, but in scrapbooking, no. Because I want it to be fun, right? I like it challenging, but I don't like it so challenging that I struggle so much that I get stressed. It's just not, that's when it becomes no fun, in all honesty. All right, so what I do with chevrons in the long run, if it is part of a requirement on a challenge or on an assignment, I guess, a YouTube assignment that I have volunteered to, be a part of, I take my chevrons and I cut them into arrows. That is what I've always done. I've cut them straight down that little line and made just an arrow out of them. So even if I would have had a true chevron pattern, this is exactly what I would have done in the first place with the chevron. Because it's hard for me, you guys. And so what I see is a whole bunch of misdirectional arrows on a page, and it's kind of an eyesore at sometimes, depending on how thick or thin the chevron is. If it's super, super thin, my eyes start going cross-eyed, basically. It's crazy. It actually looks like the chevron's moving across the page to me. And so those are the first ones I get rid of. Nope, not happening there. But if they're big or decent size like these ones, then yeah, I cut them down so that way I get a directional arrow, and then I will trim them out the length that I need them, and they're just the perfect borders, in all honesty. Whether it's a gappy chevron like this or a close-up whole print chevron, I really like the chevrons that are white and then one color, because then it looks like a ribbon going across your page, and it's when you cut it down into an arrow. So normal, and in all honesty, that's what I take the simple route when I struggle with a shape or a embellishment or a color. I take the easy way out, and so for me, this is the easy way. Okay. The top piece is going to be like my title piece, and clearly I'm not going to cut my wood piece in half so it fits inside the pocket of the 3x4s up at the top. I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to put some of the pieces glued down to the paper and in the pocket, but then I'm going to put some of the pieces on top of the page protector so it overlaps the pockets. So that's what I planned on doing for these 3x4 cards. And then, of course, I don't want to cover the dashboard too much on these photos. No, normally if it was any other one, I'd be covering up the dashboard on the right, the dashboard on the left, little sprinkles here and there, covering up the eyesores on the photo. But to be honest, we don't have this truck anymore, and it was my husband's favorite truck. It really was, but in the long run, it was a lemon. It was not good anymore. It spent more time in the shop. I've already done a layout about it. It was so sad to watch my husband trade this truck in for a truck that he didn't really love. I mean, he likes it. Like and love are two different things. He loved this truck, but he likes the truck that we have now, and I personally do too. I couldn't drive this big blue truck. I couldn't. It was so big that I could not see over the dash or my tires or the windows. I had to pull myself up so close to the steering wheel that the windows didn't pull in enough to where I could see down the side of the truck. I mean, to me, it was an accident waiting to happen, but it was just me. He drove the truck just fine, and everything was great. But like I said, it spent its whole time with us in the shop, and he just got so frustrated with it. It's like, I got to get rid of it. It's a money pit. And after the warranty, which is in 2027, goes out, what then? What are we going to do then? And so basically, long story short, it just was one of those things where every time we took it to the shop threatened us of, well, if it's not covered under warranty, it's going to be this much. And it's like, we know it's warranty because it's the same issue we've had. It's just crazy. So anyways, that's why I didn't want that, long story short, that's why I didn't want to cover up too much of the dashboard of these photos. But normally, if we still had this truck and took several more, pictures traveling in the truck, then we definitely, I would have been covering up all the dashboards because I'm taking pictures of the scenery, not the dashboard. And these particular photos are actually this is one trip. This is 1 day's worth of drive. And we went through fog. We went through snow. We went through rain. We went through wind that almost took us across the whole highway. We went through bright, sunny sunshine. Oh, my stars. It was super hot outside. We went through all the weather in 1 day, going from Nevada to Utah to Wyoming. It was crazy, absolutely crazy weather, which in our area, that's expected. We could go from my house, it be a snowstorm, and then go over the hill into Elko, and it be bright and sunny, and they don't have any snow at all. So it's normal for us, but it's not normal for me to be able to document it because normally I'm the one driving over into Elko, and I don't get to document it. So I thought it was pretty cool. Plus the mountain formations in Utah, where they're stacked up the way they are they're on the other side now of the pocket page. But those formations are so unique. I mean, I've seen them in Moab and all that stuff. I didn't realize that they were in northern Utah as well. I thought they were more down south in Arizona, lower state Utah area. But we saw a bunch of them going up into the Montana region as well. And so I just thought that was unique, probably because I've never been on this particular road before. So it was fun. It was just fun documenting the trip with my husband. And basically, we don't ever hardly get to do just the two of us road trip. That was crazy. But we were just going up to meet up with a couple friends that borrowed our enclosed trailer, and we were getting our enclosed trailer back. So it was super fun. All right. So for this pocket page, I am going to work with all the pieces going in the pocket page. It is a conscious decision whether or not you're going to put this in a pocket or span it all the way across. And for this one, because everything is fairly flat, I decided that I was going to go ahead and just cut all my pieces and end up putting them in the pocket, especially if I'm going to have a wood piece on both sides of my of that 3x4 that I'm working on right now. That ticket piece is also going to be the same exact spot on the other side as my United States road piece. And so I have to keep that in mind when I go to build these pockets. But because they're not trying to go both in the pocket, I'm okay with it, because the only thickness going in the pocket was that ticket piece, and then the other one is going to go on the outside. So it really won't matter in the dimension. All right, so because I am spanning my ribbon across both and I want it on the inside, I am using, what are those called? Glue dots? I'm using glue dots on the ends of all of my pieces to try to keep that ribbon in, well, basically to make sure that it stays in place. The thing about Becky Higgins' Project Life page protectors is she made them to stay flat. So you're supposed to print your picture, put it in, and not really do all this embellishing, not really add a little bit of bulk to it. Sometimes some of her pockets aren't a true 4x6, and so you have to trim them down an eighth to 3/16 of an inch. And so I try to do all that trimming first before before I run into the problem of putting it in the pocket and then it won't fit because A, I've made it too bulky, or 2, I forgot to do that trim because it's not a true 4x3 or 4x6. So this one I remembered. I did get caught up on a couple little things, the tiny word stickers and all that good stuff. I got caught up on a couple of those, but in the end, it all goes in. This is the first time I'm putting one of my wood veneers out on the outside with my adhesive, so I'm excited to see how that's going to work. On my little road trip thing, I decided to add a cute little car because my pieces aren't super thick. Same with that little postage stamp there. I had an airplane on it and I really didn't like it, so I just replaced it with a car. It looks like the car's driving off the postage stamp. And then here, when I thought I was done, I kind of felt like, well, these two images here look like they're supposed to expand all the way across the page. So I decided on the outside to fill the gap with more tags and tickets, postage stamps and tickets, not tags. I decided to fill the gap, plus I had another extra cute little car and some more of this ribbon. So I was like, why not? I can do this. It's okay. And it actually looks like it was meant to be, in all honesty. It just looks like the pink piece is the road. The cars are on the road. And then, like one of those cartoons where the receipts and maps and stuff are flying out of the car or behind the car. That's kind of what I felt like when I finished this border piece, basically. Decided to add another little chevron arrow. My ribbon wasn't laying flat, so I do mess with my ribbon quite a bit. I take the piece out, I check to make sure, then it looks straight on the page or on the picture. I put it back in and then it looks like it bumps again. I don't understand what was going on, and then I decided, nope, I'm not even going to worry about it. Put my arrow back on there. We're moving. We're golden. I did cut a single arrow that I thought was kind of cute to have them broken up like this. So I decided that I'm debating whether or not I want to put that on my vertical photo over there. So I'm just leaving it there. My scissors were super sticky for some reason, so I decided to clean those off in the middle of of the video too. I ran out of adhesive too, but I cut that out. You guys didn't get to see that. Lots of things are going on this video today, you guys. So added a couple more little tickets behind my chevron little arrow just to finish off that border. And then I did decide I liked that little single arrow going over. And yeah, I just am super happy with how that looks. And I hope I shared a little bit of technique with you guys when you struggle with a pattern, when you struggle with a shape that is really hard for you. Like I said, I cheat and end up taking all of my chevrons and cutting them down into arrows. The problem with that is it's such a huge pattern going across a 12 by 12 page that it's hard to use it all up. Like I can use 1 or 2 strips, but using a whole sheet of it is really super hard. It really is. And then of course, you know, when it comes to the stickers, that's pretty easy because you cut them in half or thirds, and you got a bunch of stickers to share, right? Or span across your page and whatnot. So anyways, I hope that helps. Thank you so much for sticking with me for such a long video. Like I said, pocket pages are super long because of the so many steps and processes that I choose to do. And so sharing it, I just don't know if it's something you guys are interested in watching and whatnot. All right. Don't forget to check out the links all down below for those that are playing along with Shannon's Get in Shape series. It has been super fun. And it sounds like we are going to carry this into February. So how fun is that? Also, too, don't forget to check out all the links down below for Baby Got Scraps. It is a large description box down below. And I will check you guys all later. Thank you so very much. Bye.